Mm, 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 mm. Ooh, good morning, everybody. I think
Good morning.
Good morning.
I can't see anybody. How's your semester dying down? Okay, let me just call on somebody. Hi, Kayla.
Hi, how are you doing?
Good in yourself.
I'm
How's your
doing
semester
good.
dying down?
It's dying down pretty good, a lot to do at the end, but it's still going pretty well.
Okay. Amber Fitch, how are you?
I feel like it's going good, but it's like it's crunch time, trying to make sure you got everything in, stuff like that.
Okay. I know we got another our last check-in is coming up. I don't think it's this Thursday. I think it's the following Thursday, the 20th. So, mm, it seems like it's been a very long semester. And I thought about it this morning, and I think it's because last semester or this time last year, the I'm trying to pull up the session. Yeah, last year everything was done by April. So of course it makes it seem like things are dragging on this semester. But I am excited that today we are going to do pretty much part two of um, emotional intelligence in the workplace. Um, we did the first one last year, and actually it was like the most popular empower engagement ever, which kind of shocked me because I don't know, it just kind of shocked me. But this year we're delving deeper in the sense of you guys are going to have the opportunity to go further, right? Um, last year, it was different because it was more superficial. You were just learning, the outer parts of emotional intelligence. Now, in this session, we're going to go a little bit deeper into being the actual modern leader and how you can develop emotional intelligence, some capacity, so that when you do lead, you're leading from a place of EQ. Um, so just our normal information that we go through in the beginning of a session, because I do see we have some people that have joined that I've never seen before. How do you guys? Of course, the room locks at 11:05. So we always ask students to be on time. And we also ask for your camera to be on for professionalism, especially if you are asking a question. You can also drop the question in the chat and I will make sure that I address it. Anytime, if anybody would like a college background, I can always send it to you and or also show you how to put it up. We're in the season of finding jobs, especially for graduating seniors. So nothing else looks nice than actually representing the institution that you're graduating from in some form of a meeting. Of course, and then there was one, and that's social media branding. This time last year, I think we were at ARD in Atlanta, and our last, I did a co-presentation with myself and Waters Corporation, Shane, and we did social media branding. And so I decided to do part two this year, which will also delve deeper than what we talked about last year. So we're also coming up on our second to this coming Friday is our second to last empowerment book club meeting. So we are rounding out. We'll be finishing chapter 5, starting the half of chapter 6. And then on the 28th will be the end of chapter 6, and then an overview of the actual book. The book only has 6 chapters. So looking forward to that. And then without further ado, we're going to go into emotional intelligence. I am going to ask you guys some different questions because after I ended up reading, it's been very busy, but after I ended up reading the chapter yesterday, I really did want to know what you guys think about some of this information. And I say that for the simple fact that I'm a leader and I'm not much older than you, but I am older than you. And so if I am in tune with the way in which you would like to be led, it gives me a better opportunity to consistently develop my EQ capacity as well, right? And so what we'll learn is through something called transforming, once you do have your ducks in a row, in the sense of your mission statement, your EQ plan or game plan, they call it. Transforming is essentially being able to fine tune while at the same time moving forward. Moving forward. And because, like I said to you guys a long time ago, one thing that is true is that we should all be developing throughout the course of our life. It should not stop. And if it does stop, there's a problem. So um, yeah. So emotional intelligence. And actually, does anybody have a question about what? Well, actually, I took care of that too, just in case if this is your first time being exposed to emotional intelligence. Again, I can't see you guys because I collapsed all the screens so I can just see what's on it. So like I said, if you do have a question, you can, I don't think I can even see you raise your hand, but you can turn on your mic and speak, and or you can put in the chat and it will flash in front of me. So this is just a little bit of an overview from last year and essentially what emotional intelligence is. It forms a junction at which cognition and emotion meet. It facilitates our capacity for resilience, motivation, empathy, reasoning, stress management, communication, and our ability to read and navigate a plethora of social situations and conflicts. And also, it's not something that we all have. It's not the act of suppressing your feelings, and it's not just all the soft and mushy stuff. And if we think about soft skills, hard skills, it's a skill you can learn. It's how to perceive and manage others' emotions, not suppress them. And what I really love about emotional intelligence is that it's not just something that you can utilize on the job. You can utilize and transform your life in a sense of personal. And also, what I like about emotional intelligence, it's not necessarily something that is inherent and that's something that's just inherent in something that's just in you. It's something that you can actually develop. So I think that that's neat. It's more about doing the actual work. Why EI? Why is EI development important? It's widely celebrated as a valuable commodity because it can predict life outcomes we care about, such as academic performance, psychological adjustment, and workplace success. One of the things that I do want to point out and that I've noticed since this is my second year as the director of student engagement. And so part of my job is meeting with industry a lot and finding what their needs are out of our students, and then being able to develop our students so that the students meets the expectation of the employer. And so one thing that they want individuals that do come in at an entry level position, but they want you to progress into lead. And so I know when I was sitting in a meeting with Bioscience Association and there was 5 different huge employers around the room, Crota mentioned that, hey, can you guys put some type of project management into your curriculum for STEM majors? Because we have so many students that come on board, but they want to just stay in the same spot. They've not been exposed to any type of business, or they don't have any type of business acumen. And so now more than ever, this leadership push is is important because it makes sense. And actually, we'll talk a little bit about that as well. Um, I'm giving everything away. So, the beautiful part about EQ, we have the power when it comes to emotional intelligence. That is the most important part of understanding how to use it to our advantage. And we can all increase and improve our EQ. So this is not for, oh yeah, this is for today. So what we'll be covering for EQ leadership development, goal setting, making time for personal development, reflection, for getting to know yourself. And that was the other thing I was going to talk about is how EQ can be used to help you evolve as an individual, meaning self-awareness. I get so many questions from students about uh, self-awareness, self-reflection. What part does it play in my anxiety, overthinking? A section of this EQ literally does delve into the book that we're going through, the book about overthinking. Yeah, so it is kind of exciting to see how it kind of is interdisciplinary, right? So, of course, the first steps, 3 questions essential to increasing emotional intelligence. Are you willing to do the hard work of getting to know yourself more deeply than you ever have? Are you prepared to ask yourself the tough questions and then with clear eyes? Are you going to go after what you really want, even if it feels uncomfortable? And this is really, it sounds like it's so elementary, like we all do this already. But I was having lunch with a family member. Day was that on? I just got back from Dallas. It was last week, Thursday, and we were having lunch, and we were basically talking about therapy and self awareness. And the family member mentioned that how they all of a sudden abruptly stopped therapy, and she was saying that, hey, I think it's because it got uncomfortable because a lot of things started centering around these 3 questions. So even though we try to pretend, not pretend, even though we might feel as though we are in tune with the aspects of these 3 questions, sometimes we're not. And so I said to her, I said, if it became that uncomfortable with having to do that type of work and to have to really start doing a lot of self awareness and self reflection, I said to her, I said, you never thought about what the reward could be at the other end of, on the opposite side of that door? And it just turned a light on in her. And so, yeah, there has to be, and actually, one of the things that she said to me is that I've been able to in my life, uh, what should I say, master different things. And the thing that she said out her mouth that is one of my mottos is she said, you're very comfortable being uncomfortable. And that's pretty much what this is about. Learning to grow, evolve, and becoming comfortable being uncomfortable. Importance of self-awareness. It all begins with self-awareness, with knowing who you really are. This self awareness means having clarity around your values, passion, purpose, mission, and goals. Once clear, you build the self confidence and motivation to grow into the vision of yourself that you've actually imagined. Benefits of a solid structure in place, in the sense of where we're going with developing EQ. These things really need to be in place as you begin each day to grow. And I like this. Uh, yeah, as you begin each day to grow into a better leader, ask yourself, what will success look like today? And when I was in Dallas with my brother chilling, he had told me what his definition of success is, and it was extremely unique. But I'm also curious, actually, because I know some people are not going to speak, but I'm wondering, what are some of you guys' definition of success? Dina Johnson, are you willing?
Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Um, I would say my definition of success is just getting to the point where like I'm established myself and then I can turn around and help people who need help or help others.
Wow. Okay. I like that. I like that. Madison, what about you? Because I know you're very goal driven.
To me, it's what I would say kind of finding my purpose or finding a way to find well, yeah, like you say, goal driven, like to find a way to be determined in a way. And then kind of what Dina said, I really like that she included, to give back, to help others in a way. I like that a lot.
Most definitely. And Dina, when you said that, the first thing I thought about is a graduating senior that I'm working with, and they actually had 8 different job offers, and they were steady interviewing. I said, "Well, what are we doing here?" And he was just like, "Well, Dr. Murph, I want this job offer in San Francisco, and but it costs a lot of money to live there, so you know." And I was like, "Okay, so what about all the other job offers? I mean, what do you do with them?" And he was like, I market the other Dell State students in my program. I let them know that, hey, I might not be interested, but I do know another classmate that's just as talented. And I've never heard a student doing that before in all the years I've been in higher education. Like, that's pretty dope. Like, that's showing a lot of love. And you don't even have to, but that was just unique. I just want to hear one more. Jaya, what is your definition of success and why?
Hi, I would say my definition of success is basically being satisfied with where you are now and
Grateful.
comfortable in your environment.
That makes sense. But are you also saying in a sense of being gratitude or being grateful for what you do have?
Not necessarily grateful, but after you accomplish your goals, you're satisfied with your placement of where you are now.
Okay. Okay. So as you guys can see, there's different viewpoints on what success actually is. Um, I don't know. When I can't even think about what mine was, but it just hit me. Um, I would actually agree with Nina Simone. I don't know if any of you guys know who Nina Simone is, but she said that for her, success means being fearless, and being fearless feels like flying. So it really can take different shapes. And these things are, like I said, extremely important if you're going to develop the EQ game plan that he's about to talk about. So also what comes into play, visualization and imagination. Like I said, did in the book club when we talked about meditation, imagery, things like that. But even in the sense of being professional, visualization and imagination go hand in hand to kindle the fire inside that fuels your motivation and determination. Um, so, you guys, I'm just curious, what have you visualized and imagined that manifested itself? Like, I hope the seniors have visualized that you are graduating because you are. Any other examples of anything that you might have manifested because you visualized it?
To me, I would say, well, I recently got, an internship, so I was very excited about that, but I manifested it, and there were other internships that were like, oh no, I don't think you're the good candidate for it. But I manifested, I'm like, I'm going to get this job offer, well, internship, and then I got it. So
And
I
it's so
was very
crazy that
excited.
you say that because I was just jogging and I thought about how there's so many times, and also sorry I keep on reverting back to the book, but this is stuff that I've already taught this semester. So it's also called positive self-talk, which you just mentioned, and it's just so crazy how a lot of times, you know, we will internalize and or think about a negative situation in a heartbeat or default to it, but sometimes have a lack of vocalizing outside of yourself positive things that you're actually trying to manifest. And so I'm trying to work on that better because a lot of times you just don't know an outcome of something. So why always default to something negative? And that's usually when negative things happen. So I guess manifestation can go both ways. Victoria, I'm wondering what you think. What have you visualized and imagined that manifested itself besides knowing me since you were a junior in high school?
I don't know. I've been manifesting, but it's kind of folding on me. So I gotta keep manifesting, if that makes sense.
Or you mean
Like,
keep visualizing?
huh?
I said, or keep visualizing.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Like the job I wanted was like they just rejected me, but Then a different one has me doing like a pre-screen interview. So it's just like you never know where opportunity and stuff is gonna come.
I'm excited for you. I really am excited for you because um yeah, you're in the rhythm. Yeah. So something positive will definitely come out of that. And I just hope that you realize that that's a part of being in the job market and that you're ahead of the game. A lot of people wait till after they graduate to find a job. Lastly, mix faith with your written and spoken words to fuse them together. And so, like I said, that's that positive self-talk. Yes, positive self-talk again. Developing a mission statement. Of course, a lot of times we will see mission statements with organizations, departments, different businesses. So why not have one for yourself, right? I mean, everybody wants to say, everybody swears that they're a brand, uh, and that's not shade or anything, but I say it because it's used too frequently in the sense of trying to understand what a brand actually is, right? And how long it takes to actually develop a brand. And so, why not at least start with a sense of having a solid mission statement for yourself? So, it's extremely helpful to have a philosophy around what you hope to be and what you intend to accomplish. This personal mission statement is a written document that establishes three things: your why, which is organic, developed by you, free from influences or emotions; your direction. This determines the action you must take in order to fulfill the requirements of your why. And then last, the substance of things that matter to you, which are going to be like your core values, ideals, principles, people, and things that bring enthusiasm and passion to your life. And so the gentleman in this book, and actually, if anybody would like to purchase it, because this is just one chapter on leadership, but it's emotional intelligence all throughout, from social skill development, all kinds of stuff. Emotional Intelligence for the Modern Leader, and it's by Christopher Connors. If anybody would like to purchase it, and or even if you want to borrow mine, that's fine. But he does give a mission statement example, and I know I went through those last three things really quick, uh, but here you have the why, which would be which part? And would you like to take that one out of this statement? Which portion would be the why? And I might need to go back too to figure this out.
Is it to help others?
Yes. And make a tangible difference in their lives. That's the why. And then the next portion would be the action. Summer, can you tell me what the action is?
Through my writing, speaking, and coaching.
Yes. And then the last piece, which I honestly cannot remember um, what it's called, would be the substance of things that matter to you mostly, like your core values. And so the last portion of this is going to be while living each moment to the fullest and having a positive attitude, smile, and genuine enjoyment for life. So everybody sees how this mission statement is short, one paragraph, like they asked for, and it's pretty concise. What I'm going to go through next, oh, no, not yet. So we want to be accountable for growth's sake. And so they do prescribe that you take 30 minutes throughout the quiet part of your day for you to focus and review your mission statement, and then also review your goals. Are you achieving them? If not, what could you do differently? And then also remember, it's not always about adding in new things. Sometimes it's equally as important to remove tasks and activities that are not adding value. And they're going to go into depth with that as well. Does anybody have any issues with holding themselves accountable, and why, or what you might be doing to change that? So I can use myself for example. Uh, actually,
I was gonna say I am.
okay. Hey, Melanie.
Hello, Dr. Meredith. I would say sometimes there have been instances, especially during the semester, where I sometimes slack off and like following up with people sometimes, like emails or something like that, or sometimes it just slips my mind. And what I've been doing to become more accountable in that and holding the word of saying, I'm going to email you back or I'm going to follow up with this information is by like saving reminders on my phone, just to make sure that I am doing what I'm saying. And yeah.
So what could be some does anybody else have that issue with following up that might be on the call? Because I can't kind of see you right now. And if you do have that same issue, or if you had that issue, what were some of the things that you put in place to improve it? Nobody? So nobody follows up with, nobody has to follow up with
I'll.
student
Oh,
accounts,
my bad.
financial aid.
Yeah.
I
Well,
I have some, issues with saying like, "Oh, I'll email you back and get back to you," and it just completely like is in one ear and out the other, and I just like totally forget about it. So I also put reminders on my phone and on my computer to say, "Oh, email this person back or text this person back about this," and all that kind of stuff.
The only two things that was there somebody else that was talking or
yeah,
about to speak?
yeah. I was gonna
Okay.
say like whenever I have to do like tasks like that, always try to like schedule out a time during the week where I can go maybe in person where I know I'll be able to get it done face to face.
Most definitely. And the last two things that I was gonna say, scholars, especially if you're on the line, you notice how I'm always directly back at you with whatever request you have. Like literally, I always have to do my emails in the moment or else something falls through. That, and I also use the flagging feature so that, if I'm flagging things throughout the week, on Friday at a particular time, like Victoria said, like usually between 1 and 3, I have different functions that I have to do in my office. And so that's always one of them. Go all the way down through all of the flags and take care of business and respond. So I'm sure that that's going to improve for you, Melanie. If anybody needs moving forward, you'll see these different prompts that come directly from the book. And if you would like to screenshot them, you're more than welcome to if you want to do these exercises on your own. But essentially, this is step by step on how to develop your mission statement. And we've kind of gone through that already. And then the next portion, building your EQ game. Um, and so, yeah, you're really just spelling out what it is that you're about. So, what do you want out of your career? List your values, list your passions. Definitely have a full understanding of what your purpose is. Uh, yeah, I think mine for the longest, I know it's on one of my pages. I think it's intellectual with purposefully driven. Yeah, purposefully driven. Um, because with purposefully driven and or you're talking about your purpose, you can then link your honest and or true intention, which then can also be linked to your motivation. um, Number 5 goes into also your mission as well as your goals. uh, and so when we think about our goals, I know everybody has heard about SMART goals. Can somebody tell me what SMART goals actually reflects or what the acronym means? So I'll give you the first two: specific, measurable.
Um,
A
I
is
think
gonna
that
be,
Achievable.
huh?
Achievable.
Yep,
Achievable,
achievable or
attainable.
attainable. And then the R, I can't even remember the R. The T, I know is time.
Is it realistic for R?
Oh, well, wouldn't that kind of be like, I'm surprised nobody's Googling. So,
Okay, is it
I'm just
relevant?
like, because I can't, because the achievable and the R that Melanie that you just mentioned kind of would be the same thing, right? Achievable,
Yeah.
attainable, re. What has anybody Googled it yet?
Let me
Is it
see.
relevant?
I think it might be relevant.
Mm.
Yeah, it has to be relevant because if it's not relevant to what you're trying to achieve, then it's no point to have that SMART goal. And
Mm-hmm.
then like I said, I do know that the T is definitely the time sensitive. Like, is this going to be a short-term goal? Is this going to be a long-term goal? But of course, goals are extremely important as well. Any questions for me about the EQ game plan? All right. So the next one, the 5-year plan, what would you most like to accomplish professionally in the next 5 years? Use these questions to help guide you. Um, so what professional development courses would you like to take? What conferences would you like to attend? Certifications that you would like to obtain? Those things are extremely important and of course, make you stand out against other candidates. Um, it was crazy. Like, I think Melanie, you were in when like FMC just came in last Thursday, I think it was.
Mm-hmm.
And I just thought that it was really neat that when Rachel's I think her name was Saki or Sake,
Mm-hmm.
uh she was the chemistry she was a chemist and they were talking about the nematologist that they had just hired, and
Mm-hmm.
she spoke about how she actually stood out, and she stood out because she was able to do things through logic, reasoning, justification, critically think, as well as problem solve in the moment of being interviewed. So, like I said, it goes both ways. You know what I mean? It can go in the sense of these are the skill sets that I've developed, and then also it can go in a way of really about how you express yourself and your knowledge base. Next one, in 100 words, describe the job that you love to have that meshes with your talent, knowledge, skills, experiences, and passions. And then last, list all your business skills. Um, and that's extremely important. Understanding what your skill sets are and then making sure that you are growing them. You will notice that when you do get into your different employment positions, that especially if you're good at what you do, they will move you into different posts and positions that you might not have any expertise about, but they need you to supervise, right? They need for you to manage. They need for you to be able to use your emotional intelligence to keep who you are leading motivated. So it's also a good opportunity for an individual to develop new skill sets that they can actually utilize on the job. I know specifically moving into this position, um, I had never really worked with grant management, and I've been able to master that. Uh, I never worked with a whole well, I've worked with admissions processes, but there's just a lot of functions that go along with the scholarship. I had never worked this intimately and this closely with industry and graduate schools. Yeah, so out of need, definitely individuals usually rise to the occasion, but there's always a benefit out of it because, right, we usually think the more we do, the more we should be compensated, and not necessarily thinking about how what you're being offered is a chance to prove yourself moving forward, in the sense of what you can handle with responsibilities and duties. Start building relationships with yourself professionally and personally. You guys know I'm so about that. In order to give value to others in your organization, you must first introspectively look within and be firm in your values, strategy, and goals. And like I mentioned in the beginning, this is the point where the transforming leader masters the fundamentals of self awareness and then builds relationships with people both inside and outside of the actual organization. Here you must build relational capital through empathy and an authentic desire to elevate others. Authentic Business relationships are built on curiosity, candor, and willingness to help. And so, back again, last Thursday when I was having lunch with my family member, we were both not complaining about our jobs. We were talking essentially about how technology has now made our workloads even heavier. And when I first heard that through my mentor in North Carolina, I was like, I don't think that she knows what she's saying. But then I realized, I mean, you had a pandemic come through, you had people start working from home, you had all different new ways of technology to get the job done. And I think that in some higher level positions, they feel as though, hey, you have this technology and these ways to get work done easier, then hey, we can add more work to your workload. And she definitely agreed in that sense. But one thing that I do make it very clear, and I know I said it last year to students in April, is that if you are going to lead, you have got to be comfortable with doing your job as well as the individuals that follow you. If you are not made to do that, and or you're not willing to learn how to do that, leading will always be extremely stressful for you, or you might not do it. Um, for me, I get not tickled, but I get confused with individuals that go into leadership posts and they feel like only thing they're supposed to do is delegate. Because it's like you're halfway there, like you're not going to get the full result of what you're leading, right? Because who you are leading can see through all of that. And my the people that have always inspired me, that have led me were willing to go above and beyond, which made me want to go above and beyond. So yeah, just some different things to think about. Our relationships are the turbocharger that leads to new opportunities, success, and achievement of our long-term goals. Last, with transforming, here we're also forging relationships. Um, yeah, forging relationships helps increase our mental inventory of knowledge. We gather knowledge on organizational, politics, leadership, and history. And then transformational leaders are astutely aware of the needs of their employees and are wise to modify their leadership styles depending on the situation, which then leads you into situational leadership. I'm not going to go into all the different types of leadership, but there is transformational leadership, situational leadership. But really, what's so unique with situational, this type of leadership teaches you how to lead depending on the readiness level of your employees. And that, I think, is really the key. Uh, if you are going to pull people along, and definitely to empower them. Facts. The top predictor of workplace satisfaction is not actually pay. It is the culture and values of an organization. And that has been hit on the head with FMC. It was hit on the head with Agilent, with with Melanie. But it's just crazy to me because in 2008, when I started recruiting students to the College of Ag and Related Sciences at that time, but now it's Ag and College of Ag, Science and Technology, um, you have to remember we had just gone through the recession, or really it was the start of the recession when I started. And so coming out of that, the only thing from 2008 up until I would dare to say 2018, 2018, the only thing students and parents wanted to know was how much is my child going to make? How much is the job security that's related to it? That was the only thing that they wanted to know about going to college, number one, and especially about selecting a major, and about selecting Delaware State University to prepare the student to get to that place. So, like I said, it amazes me that it is now the culture and the values of an organization, followed by the quality of senior leadership, and then the career opportunities that are actually offered um, to the employees while they are employed, which does make sense because um, essentially, you want to make as much money as possible. Transformational leadership traits, and these are just different traits of a transformational leader. And I'm assuming that this is where getting to transformational leadership is pretty much like the goal. So a transformative leader is also a change catalyst with the ability to foresee and change and adjust before it happens. A transformative leader is also a change catalyst with the ability to foresee and change and adjust before it happens. Sorry, that was a duplicate. A transformative leader seeks feedback. A transformative leader focuses on the most important things and then delegates the pebbles. They also are never content or complacent. They seek feedback. I don't know what I was doing yesterday, but a transformative leader aims to improve both strengths and weaknesses. And a transformative leader is mindful, self aware, and motivated to make each day their masterpiece. You guys, now my question is, because even in college, you've had teachers that have been like this, you've had administrators that have been like this, you've had high school counselors, you've had individuals that you work for in high school and college. Can anybody identify or relate to any of this as far as transformational leader? Or can you at least select an individual that you've had the opportunity to work with that's a transformational leader with now knowing the traits? Oh,
You.
Sierra. Sarah, is your hand up, Sierra, or no?
Yeah, my hand's up.
Okay.
So, one person I saw as a transformational leader that helped me like get into college is my high school guidance counselor. Um, he like helped me because I started at Del State in the early bird program my senior
Mhm.
year of high school. So he actually helped me a lot. Um, get that transition from high school senior to college student. And there was a time where my schedule in high school was kind of like messed up because I was only supposed to have a half day, and I would leave high school around like 10:30 and come to Del State and take a class. And I came to him and I said, "Hey, like we didn't discuss this. Like how can we fix this?" And he was like, "This is my fault. I'm so sorry." Like he took the criticism very well, and he was the one who actually introduced me to the CAS scholarship and helped me apply for it, and like helped me take all my information and put it into a application form and helped me write my little letter that I had to write. And he impacted my life getting into college 100%. He made it so much easier for me, and I would see him as a transformational leader.
And the reason why I would say that is because through your feedback and working with him, you guys were able to do the type of work that was necessary to meet your needs, right?
Yeah.
And what is his name? Mike? I don't think that you had him though.
This is going to sound really bad. I do not remember his name.
Isn't he Caucasian?
Yes,
And
he
he's older.
works.
He's like in his 50s.
Yes, he
I worked
works
with
for
him at
Lake
Lake
Forest.
Forest. Yeah, I worked with him. It's Mike. I can't think of it, but yeah, he's kind of iconic. He was cool while I was there. Yeah,
Yeah.
he's a really good guy. He's been highly knowledgeable. And
Yeah.
so that goes back to that whole piece where we saw prior to where you really you become invaluable to an organization when you're able to develop that knowledge base
Yeah.
of what that organization is about. And so essentially, I believe that's how he was really able to definitely help you and be and also it sounds as though he did this portion as well, a catalyst with the ability to foresee change and adjust before it happens. So yeah, anybody else? Yanya Weiss, I want to hear from you.
You hear me?
And I say that because I believe that you have had some transformational leaders because of the work that you've done working with the vet hospital.
Exactly, yeah. So I would say the lead doctor at my job, Coastal Veterinary, Dr. Mary Helen, she's definitely helped guide me throughout my whole experience. Because I started working with her my freshman year of high school, and she just shows me like this is the exact field I want to be in. Whenever I have questions, she answers them. She's just so helpful with my references as well as recommendation letters and anything I ask, she's there to answer for me. So I'm very thankful for her.
And I was going to say that definitely goes back to that piece of a change catalyst with the ability to foresee change and adjust before it happens. And I say that because if you've been with her since you were, did you say a freshman in high school?
Yeah, because I did
Yeah,
volunteer work and then I went to intern and then went to working with her. So it was
yeah.
just leading
So
up.
she's already seen the changes and the development that you would need. And I'm pretty sure she's given you the opportunities to gain those experiences so that you can continue to advance, like you just said. So, okay, all good stuff. But I'm gonna skip that question about adversity to propel a leader forward. Um, so transforming exercise, game plan for leaders assessment, and you can always screenshot this and yeah. Transforming exercise as far as evolution. Here are 5 questions to ask yourself as you evolve into an emotional, intelligent leader. And I think these are really important because they help gauge as well as keep you accountable for why you might not be moving up the spectrum. What is the cost to me of staying in the same spot and not changing? What behaviors have not worked for me in the past? What did I learn from them? What do I see as my biggest leadership need? Uh, what leader can I what leader can I learn about and emulate to continue my progression into becoming the leader that I want to be? And what are the best quick wins? Um, and I want to skip back to number 4 because uh what is it? What was her name? Lisa Hoffman that came into for the FMC night last Thursday. Her advice to students on her quote was fake it till you make it. And so that falls into number 4 as far as what leaders can I learn about and emulate to continue my progression. And I've always done that as far as find leaders so that so that I can progress. Um, we're going to skip adversity because that pretty much grows us. Common challenges. Um, a very common challenge for anyone becoming an emotionally intelligent leader is overcoming the perception that people will take advantage when you lead with empathy. I am, I would definitely say I'm a transformative leader and that I definitely lead with empathy. But this part I've never really thought about, how people putting people first. This is what people might perceive about somebody that's an emotional intelligent leader. That you put people first means that people will march all over you. Um, I always have something that's in place, right? Because we can be, individuals are dynamic, right? So you can be one thing in one moment and be another thing in another. But what I try to do so that I give everybody a fair shot, because we all have our own biases and we all end up missing some extremely good opportunities from our bias and or our negative narrative before we actually get to know somebody. And so I always put in place to where I let somebody take advantage maybe 1 to 2 times so that I could see who or what they're about. And then that's when I'm able to understand and or categorize what level of a relationship I'll have with that person, right? Because just because somebody might have some negative traits does not mean that you need to throw out the baby with the bathwater, right? Because we all are human. But yeah, that's just a little tidbit. Being an emotional, intelligent leader and is far from a sign of weakness. Rather, it's a strength that unites the organization. Another common challenge facing emotional intelligence leaders is revealing more of themselves personally to the people that they lead. As your employees, I laugh because I've always been that way. I'll never forget, I was coming back I used to be the co-advisor for the Del State chapter of FFA. And the young lady that was our vice president, I can only see her face. She was a chemistry major. She now works for DuPont. Rebecca Morrow, something like that. But we were riding back from Kentucky or Indianapolis, one of the two. And the students finally got to see a side of me. Um, Not aside, they got to spend time with me. And then the next thing I know, Rebecca was like, well, we don't know anything about you. Do you want to? And I was like, no, I don't. because, and I'm saying that because it also depends on what industry that you're in. So when you're in education, it's kind of hard, you can lead, but sometimes you can't have personal because there always has to be a boundary, right? Between an educator and especially a student. So like I said, just be mindful of the industry that you are in when it comes to what you do give that's personal. As your employees see more of the authentic you, it'll help strip away fear and let you connect with confidence. And then the benefits of role change bring the opportunity to learn about different aspects of the organization, like I mentioned earlier. When we talk about moving to different department functions that you can learn about organizational leadership roles, core functions, key relations, and then become the expert in one area, but diversify your portfolio by growing your knowledge in multiple business functions. And then we want to resist regression, right? It's here in this discipline mindset that we must operate if we're to avoid regressive behavior, such as forgetting everything we know to be right because the pressure of the moment causes us to act in desperation, making a firing or promoting decision on a whim. That's that whole take 24 hours till you respond to an email, if it could be explosive, giving ourselves all the credit and none of the blame, stubbornly thinking we can lead by decree, raise voice or demand, particularly when it's not in an emergency situation, and eliminating time for reflection and building up our core selves because we've advanced beyond the fundamental stage. More with resist regression, uh, they actually put them into two different levels between high value playing offense activities. And what they're saying is with this type of resist and regression that you actually need to do inventory to then realign these high value playing offenses versus playing defenses so that it equals out. So some playing offenses could be spending time each day in meditation, keeping a journal for self-reflection. And these are things that add towards your emotional intelligence. Thinking of the people in your everyday interaction that you can help, planning and organizing your time blocks each week for meetings, idea creation, and work you need to focus on, beginning your day with and seeding in moments for inspirational reading and videos. And last, visualizing yourself achieving your exact goals and definition of success, imagining what that looks like, how it makes you feel, and what it will take to get you to that moment. And then last, with resist regression, playing defense. These are things that can take away from your emotional intelligence by examining how you spend time in your day and identifying things that aren't helpful, determining what meetings and tasks you can delegate, building in contingency times for inevitable emergencies or circumstances that demand your attention. And then last, embracing a constantly self-improving mindset will combat any types of regressive behavior that might enter your mind. And the feed forward part is about accepting suggestions and asking for as much help in that area as you can help to grow. We are running out of time. And so I just want to cut to, because these last portions, it's only about 2 or 3 slides that are essentially dealing with exercises as far as to help with resisting regression, as far as a weekly scorecard, things that are going to center around essentially emotional intelligence. And then last, the different takeaways from this whole modern leader. If you're taking your first steps, focus on building your game plan and completing a mission statement. Build your foundational values, defining success and having a vision. As you transform and evolve, recognize the importance of change, adapting to a new environment, building new relationships, and doing the introspective work of determining what you need to do to improve. I know somebody mentioned earlier, I think it was Jaya, about being in a level of being comfortable with your environment, things of that nature. So that's essentially up in this area when we talk about transforming. Focus on yourself and then take the positive strides you've made and build and cultivate relationships where you are. To avoid slipping back into bad habits, focus on the high value activities you can incorporate into your daily routine, and conversely, eliminate negative time wasters and any unnecessary tasks and meetings on your schedule. And that is all. Are there any questions for me about emotional intelligence? Were we able to gain more information as far as how we can make our EQ game plan our own, how to stay accountable, calibrate ourselves. We're all good. Everybody's waiting for the code. Okay. Just give me one second. Give me 1 second. It's the coffee, but let me see. It is right here. Yanya, you just saw your face. You were like, did he really just say that? All right. And also, I might have forgotten it today, but I'll probably just do a genuine um email and contact you guys because there are like 4 Amazon gift cards that I should have given out by now. I thought I was going to remember to do that again today or yesterday, but that didn't happen. So, inside the chat is the survey link for today. It's open from 11:50 to 12:30. Of course, it's your opportunity to be in the drawing for the $10 Amazon gift card to also input your attendance. And really, I utilize this definitely to know what you guys want to see moving forward. And was this a good empowerment engagement? And that's pretty much how the book club came about. Was the surveys from last year. Several students consistently said that they wanted a book club. Um, any questions for me? Any scholar questions or general student body? Yep. Hi, Ann.
Hi, I just had a question that's not really related to today's session, but like during the meeting today, I got a call on my phone about like the career not attending the career fair and then getting credit for spring so I would attend like the community event that they have going on, but I'm graduating in May, so I don't know how that works. Do I have to still attend that? Because I've attended all my meetings here. I've done my community service. I didn't know if I still have to attend that.
Well, to be on the same playing field as all scholars, so the community day, like I said, was alternative to the career fair. So
Right.
in past, I have given credit to individuals that well, it doesn't matter. This year, I made sure that I did the alternative so that all scholars were fair that were putting in their work. Now, I've had graduating seniors that, I mean, it's up to you. I mean, it would still be, uh, yeah, I mean, it's still required, even though you're graduating. That's not, yeah, it's still, like I said, it's still a requirement. At the worst, if you don't do it, it's not like in the fall you won't be re-awarded, right? So,
Right.
like I said, it's asked of you because all the other scholars have done it. But also it was developed for the simple fact that everybody didn't need to go to a career fair. And instead of me just saying everybody will, I made sure I made another equal opportunity so that all scholars felt as though, yeah, it was fair across the board.
Okay, I just wanted to
Yeah.
make sure because I was working at my internship that day of the career fair. Like as much as I wanted to go, I couldn't. So I wasn't sure like how that worked and if would that affect me graduating in May if
No.
okay.
No, it would not affect you graduating. And at the end of
Okay.
the day, like I said, I developed the alternative because of where you're at. Like
Right.
you pretty much have a job, but still a requirement of this program is to do a professional development yeah, activity like every other scholar. So that's why the community day was identified. And that's also why I said, if you guys are going to go out and volunteer, I'll come down and I'll volunteer as well.
Okay.
So that's pretty much what that's about. So like I said, I'll be there. Um, whether you have to satisfy that requirement, and I'm talking about in general because we're all talking now. So this
Right.
isn't specific to you, Ann, but whether you want to just participate because you want to and network, whether you are participating to get community service credit and you can double with getting the professional development credit, that's up to you as well. But this has no reference to actually graduating. You got me? Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Any other questions, you guys? None. Okay. Well, you guys enjoy the rest of your day and yeah, take care.
Bye, Dr. Meredith.
See ya.
Bye.